world of handmade business can be tough when trying to monetize what you love. We've got truth bombs and motivation to help you find your way through. Passion to profit, let's start today, 'cause the world needs what you create. Tune in right now, it's your shot to learn how to be a handmade boss.
Hello everyone and welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about the Pinterest algorithm and how that works. So Pinterest is not just a place for wedding inspiration and banana bread recipes, right? It's a search engine in its very nature. So the hard truth here is Pinterest is actually not social media. It's actually a visual search engine that rewards content that helps people. So let's talk about what we're going to cover today. The first thing is how the Pinterest algorithm actually works. The second thing is all the different kinds of pins and what ones actually that you need to get seen, and how to use Pinterest to drive traffic and sales on autopilot, which is something that we all want, right? So let's get into how the algorithm actually works. So Pinterest is like Google, but with a fancy makeover. It ranks your pins based on relevance, engagement, and consistency. So what actually boosts your pins here? What do we need to know to get found and seen? Number one is SEO and keywords are so super important because Pinterest is a search engine. Number two is fresh new content. Pinterest itself loves new pins, not necessarily just repinning old ones, although combining those two things is a winning combo for sure, especially when you're building your strategy out. The third thing is saves and clicks. The more people engage, the more Pinterest will push your content out to new people. Also, consistency. Pin daily or Pinterest just kind of forgets that you exist. So what kills your reach? So only pinning your own stuff. You cannot pin your own stuff and call it a day because that's not how Pinterest works. You need to mix it in with other high quality pins too and repinning other people's stuff. The second thing is actually ignoring Pinterest trends. You need to pin what people are actually searching for. And by the way, Pinterest Trends is actually a thing. It's its whole website. It's free that you can go on and have a little nosy and see what's actually trending on Pinterest. So you definitely want to make sure to check that out. The third thing is posting once in a blue moon. As we know, Pinterest rewards regular activity. So the big takeaway here is Pinterest is not just about going viral. It's about creating evergreen content that keeps driving traffic for months and years. Okay, so now let's talk about the Pinterest content breakdown. Not all pins work the same way. So here's how to use each format for maximum reach. So you have idea pins. So these are Pinterest's version of stories on Instagram. And these are actually really good for engagement. So the things that you need to know is that it doesn't link anywhere because Pinterest actually wants to keep you on the Pinterest platform. It's great for things like how-to guides, tutorials, and behind-the-scenes content. So the best strategy for idea pins is to add text overlays and use trending topics. Then you have your standard pins, and these are like static image pins. These are best for clicks and website traffic. So what you need to know about standard pins is that it's the classic pin and click content format. SEO is absolutely key. So you need to use keywords in the title, description, and image file name. So the best strategy here is to use eye-catching imagery and call to action in the text. And also obviously make sure to use keywords that your target audience would actually use. Let's talk about video pins. So these are best for reach and visibility. And what you need to know is Pinterest loves videos, as do most social media platforms, right? Especially they really like those short looped clips. So something like an Instagram boomerang or something like that, where you're looping a video over and over again. Pinterest loves those. It doesn't drive as many clicks as your normal static pins would, but it is really good for engagement because the more people watch it, the more engagement that racks up. So your best bet for a strategy with these is to use captions and text overlays so people can actually watch without a sound. There's nothing more annoying than being sat next to your other half, looking on Pinterest, and like this whopping great horrific noise comes out of their phone. Okay, let's talk about rich pins. So rich pins are best for e-commerce and and blogs, really. So what a rich pin is that it automatically pulls information such as price, description, and details from your website. It's perfect for products, recipes, and articles. So the best strategy, and really the only way to use rich pins, is to make sure that your website is verified with Pinterest. Now, the easiest way I found to do this is to have your website hosted through Etsy or hosted through Shopify. So if you have an Etsy store, you have some version of rich pins. It's not the full version, but you have some kind of version. If you have a Shopify store, this whole process is just so super easy. So which one should you be using? Well, actually, you should be using a mix of standard pins for traffic and idea pins for engagement. So now let's talk about the biggest Pinterest mistakes that will absolutely kill your reach. And if your pins are flopping and not really doing anything for you, then it's more than likely you're making one of these 5 fatal errors. So mistake number 1 is not using keywords. We know that Pinterest is a search engine and it needs text to understand what your pin is about. Mistake number 2 is only pinning your own content and products too. Pinterest rewards pinners, not just creators, which is especially refreshing if you're sick and tired of just creating content all the time. Mistake number 3 is using random hashtags. Pinterest SEO is not Instagram hashtags, so focus on using keywords instead of using hashtags. Mistake number 4 is not making your pins click-worthy. Your image and your text should tell people why they need to click on that pin. Mistake number 5 is completely ignoring Pinterest trends. The more that you can utilize trending topics, the more reach you're going to get. So if you fix these things, your pins are actually going to start working for you. So the best Pinterest pinning strategy is you need fresh pins daily. That's 3 to 5 times per day, because we know that Pinterest rewards consistency. You need idea pins 2 to 3 times a week if you possibly can, because these are really good for engagement. You need video pins 1 to 2 per week, and this can boost your visibility because we know that's what video pins do. And repinning, you want to be repinning 5 to 10 times per week. You want to mix your pins with other people's pins that are of a high quality. So if you want to get more clicks and more saves on your pins, you need to listen up, because the first thing you need to do is use attention grabbing overlays. People actually need to know what the pin is about. You need to create multiple pins for the same link. The more pins you have for that same link, for example, a blog post or a product listing, the more chances you have at getting found. You also want to make sure to keyword your pins. The amount of times that I see pins that are not keyworded. That's your title, your description, your file name, and even your profile bio. You want to also pin at the right time. There is a time aspect to Pinterest as well. So don't just pin willy-nilly, actually schedule this stuff in. Evenings and weekends are great. And also you want to make your pins visually appealing, not boring. So bright colors, clear fonts, and no clutter. So how do we get Pinterest to show your content to more people? So if you want Pinterest to push your pins to the very top, you need to do these things. So number 1, like I said, use Pinterest trends. Pin what other people are searching for right now, and trends is a great way to see what that is. You want to pin daily. Pinterest rewards consistent pinners. You also want to make your pin titles and descriptions keyword rich, because Pinterest is a search engine. You also want to get people to save your pins too, because the more saves you get, the more Pinterest will boost it. You also want to use your analytics, because honestly, they are really in depth, and you want to do more of what's working and less of what's not working. So the bottom line here is that if Pinterest sees your content as being valuable, it will keep showing it to new people for months. So here's your final tips and your action plan. Focus on fresh, engaging pins. Don't just recycle the same old, same old. Use a mix of standard pins and idea pins, and also, put some rich pins and some other video pins and stuff in there as well. Mix it up. But you definitely want to really at least be using standard pins and idea pins. SEO is everything on Pinterest. So you want to make sure that you are keywording all the places that I've mentioned. You want to pin consistently, but not absolutely spam. 3 to 5 fresh pins a day is literally the sweet spot that I found. And you also want to track your analytics and tweak your strategy, because Pinterest loves it when you adapt. So my final thought here is that Pinterest isn't a social media platform. It's a search engine. The more helpful and click-worthy content that you can create, the more traffic you'll get. So guys, I really, really hope that that was helpful for you. Don't forget to follow me or subscribe, whether you are listening to the podcast version of this or watching the video version on YouTube. Thank you so, so much. And I will see you all next week. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for tuning into How to Be a Handmade Boss. And if you're eager to boost your Etsy sales within just 7 days, then be sure to join my most popular free training at handmadebosses.com/conversion. You can also find the link in the show notes as well. Keep an eye out for our next episode where we'll be continuing our journey towards handmade business success together. And until then, keep crafting and stay inspired, because the world really does need those special creations that only you can make.